somehow in a way tell him like we are from the school, which he already knows. He said, "Do we get discount?" Because I'm like this, and I remember this guy's face. He was some like guy in his 30s, but that time when you were in 30s, you had all mustache, you look older, and he's just
Yeah.
like he's incredulous. He's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Ab thoda zyada ho gaya." And we were like, Then we just gave him $50 note. He gave us $10 back, and it was something like that. I was like, okay. Then we went our way and we watched the movie then.
By the time, and it was 12, and it was considered to be the turning point of your career, that if you don't get good marks in 12, then your career is over. That was the perception that time. I got very bad marks, very poor grades in 12. That feeling of being not good actually carried over to the college as well for a couple of years.
At that point, I made a decision that I have to let this guy go. And I just slowed down a bit. And what happened when I slowed down so much, there was another guy next to him. He also ran like ahead. And these guys started running even faster. And I had just lost the motivation or whatever. I don't know what it was. But I was like letting him, I was just kind of like not lost motivation, but that's the wrong thing. I was like just happy for him. And then I started running and I actually ended up coming fifth.
And then he bowled the second ball. I said, okay, it's not working out. I just closed my eyes, swiveled on my feet, and pulled the ball, and it just connected, and it went for 4. I was like, wow, this is good.
And you know how the teachers do it, like after tough question, they're like, Gaurav, Rohit, Puneet, Bikram. He would never do that to us after that. Like, when we do not know, he will not. Whenever we raise our hand, then he'll let us. He will never put us in a situation. He will never actually insult us because we got a low score. He will never us like, we will cane you. He'll never say bad things to us. Because he was like, you never know, man, what these guys gonna do. He's gonna fucking tell everything. He's just gonna ruin my reputation. All right, here we are again. If you have already subscribed, that's good. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And we're going to continue our stories. We are going back to the Hall of Fame or Hall of Shame, as we might want to call it. So this is going back to high school or even before high school. All my stories are from boarding school. Bikram's stories are from a small town, which is not even Asansol. So now it feels like Asansol, where you grew up, was also the big town.
Yeah,
And within the big town, there was another smaller town. So that's where Bikram
it
was.
was so
And
small that you went there, attended a wedding, and you still don't know the name.
I still don't know. I just called it Asansol. Yeah, I had an interesting experience because I think that's another story you already know what happened. I fucked up because of
Yeah.
the train tickets. I do remember walking around there. I don't think I was walking around with you. I was just walking around on my own, and I was just making sure I don't get lost. Most of the streets were fairly barren, like
Yeah.
relatively speaking. And I think near your house there was this little bit area where people used to have those. I think they were selling stuff like food and
Vegetables.
all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So apart from that, was pretty neat. All right, we'll hit the ground running now.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with this next story. This is going to be about which one should I take? Oh, you talked about the adult films. I'm going to talk about adult film, but this is actually slightly different than that. So this is in I'm not sure which year. Could be 1997. Let's just say 1997
Hmm.
because it happened. This is a two-part story. So the
Okay.
first one is this is what people will know. This is something so unique that I don't think anybody can match on this thing. If anybody can, please say it. Or it doesn't have to be in the same exact bracket. It can be in any other bracket. My school was called GRD Academy. I am not telling you what the full form is. It was run by this man named Raja Singh, who was this Khet Punjabi guy from the village. Made money selling vegetable. Apparently, that's the story he would always tell during the Founders Day speech in Punjabi. That's the only time anybody ever spoke in any other language officially than English. And he would just go on and on. He was like, I was a vegetable vendor. I had this cart ready, my Gwanda Siga. And then now what has happened to me? See, and I was like, going on and on. So anyway, this guy had owned the school and also he owned a theater in Dehradun. And guess what's this theater? I'll tell you the name of the theater. It's still there. Apparently now it's much more lavish. Hopefully, I was trying to find a picture of the old New Empire. That's the name of the theater. Now they've refurbished. It's probably one of the better theaters in there, apart from the PVR which opened in Dehradun. Now, when I was there in the mid '90s to late '90s, There were only 8 theaters, and three of them were dedicated. Like, and I say dedicated, that means show after show after show was only adult films.
Hmm.
So 3 out of 5, so 37.5% of the theaters in that town dedicated to porn. And then there were three more theaters which would at least run one movie in the morning. That was called morning show. Remember that thing called morning show, which
Yeah.
a lot of happened. And one of the guess what? The New Empire was one of those theaters which was dedicated to only porn films, which apparently is still there. Not very apparently, it is still there, and it's much bigger and much better. That time is more like ghetto like. Because apparently,
Hmm.
one difference between the porn theaters and the regular theaters was that the porn theaters would not worry so much about the reconstruction and keeping it everything funky and everything. And
Hmm.
I don't know how much semen was actually around on the seats, because now when I think about it, I was like, that time not really. I didn't really care about it, because it
Yeah.
was just about getting in, getting in, getting in. So anyway, we used to. He also used to own a theater called New Empire, which was exclusively one of those three dedicated ones, only showing adult videos, only showing pornographic films. We would
Hmm.
normally avoid it. We will normally go to Regal. I think that was name was Regal, if I'm not fucking up. But the other one was definitely Digvijay,
Okay.
and Digvijay is no longer there, unfortunately. Shut down thanks to, because it did not want to change its ways. It continued to sell only nude films, and then eventually people just got internet, and they're like, "Fuck this!" They just shut down. But
Yeah.
New Empire eventually migrated. Obviously, that's why it's much bigger now. They show movies. They show all the English movies dubbed in Hindi. You
No.
still can't find a movie in English in Dehradun, apart from PVR. I think PVR probably runs it. Now they have PVR. So anyway, so we used to avoid New Empire because we knew whenever we used to get a leave, it was a town leave, and we would always be wearing school uniform. This is how the
Oh.
trend was there at that time. Whosoever
Okay.
goes out from schools whenever they go on town leave, they always wear their school uniform, and so everybody knows you're from Vellum Girls, you're from Colonel Brown, you're from Scholars Home, you're from St.
GRDA.
George's, you're from GRD. Nobody cared, but they knew you're from GRDA. And luckily, even on our tags, it never had the full form. We always say GRD. That's it. So we used to avoid, because we knew this is our owned by people in our management, because there was no need, because the two other theaters were anyway there.
Hmm.
So, but this day we realized, when we saw the poster, we were like, we really like this film. We should really try it out. So we said, at the worst, what can happen? The guy might just look at us and like GRD, and he would definitely know that we are from GRD, right? He sees our
Yeah.
uniform, and he knows that
Yeah.
this same person owns the fucking theater.
Yeah.
So we said, like, let's just give it a shot, man. We were already in 10th grade. I've already been in boarding school for more than 2.5 years. So I was not the same kid as I was staying in the story, right? When the
Hmm.
first day in Dehradun, the first time I'm falling in love, apparently, with infatuated with this hot girl who already had this super hot boyfriend. So I was much better and I was doing very well. So I was like, let's try it. So we will go to the window. As if we at the most, you just fucking like tell us, show us off or something. We are 15, right?
Hmm.
But we never had any trouble getting tickets otherwise. So we go to the window. I think the tickets were around $20. I think, if I don't remember right, 20 or 30 max or something. So there were two of us. One of my friend, I don't remember his name. I don't remember who it was,
Hmm.
not the name. So we asked for the tickets, and the moment we like, we want two tickets, and he said $40. And so we realized that he doesn't care we are from. He obviously has noticed we are from GRD. We're like, cool. And for whatever fucking reason, we somehow feel like, let's push this. We like uh, we somehow in a way tell him like we are from the school which he already knows. He said, do we get discount? Because I'm like this, and I remember this guy's face. He was some like guy in his 30s, but that time when you were in 30, you had all mustache, you look older, and he's just
Yeah.
like, he's incredulous. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, अब ज्यादा he said something, अब थोड़ा ज्यादा नहीं हो गया तुम लोग का? And I'm like, I said it in Mumbai way, but obviously he didn't say tum log ka, but it's like, ab thoda zyada ho gaya. And we were like,
Uh,
Then we just gave him $50 note, and he gave us $10 back, and it was something like that. I was like, okay. Then we went our way and we watched the movie there. So that was the fact that we are watching a movie in a porn movie in a theater, which is also run by our school person who runs our school, and then we go back to our school. So this is a very weird combination that I don't think anybody
yeah.
will have. That a person
All
who's
the
running
porn,
like
all the
uh,
porn money is getting funneled into the school.
yes, or probably the other way around eventually, and then all the school money got funneled into. They made it as a very nice theater. I don't think you'll be able to find the old pictures of, if possible. I think you can. Google can do a lot of things, but when you put New Empire, different things happen. But you're
Hmm.
getting the pictures of new theater, which is actually very fancy now. Now
Hmm.
the second story, which is attached to this same one, is this is the time we went to Digvijay to watch movies, porn movie, which was our generally we used to go to Digvijay
Did you
only.
say Dick Vijay?
Digvijay sound like Digvijay, Digvijay,
Yeah.
Digvijay. So anyway, we were watching a movie, and then as we were leaving, or as we no, I know we were early, so we got the ticket. The movie is about to start in like 15 minutes, and they had this lobby kind of area, so where you can walk around.
Hmm.
And as we were walking, guess who we bump into?
Hmm.
Our maths teacher in 10th grade. And we were like, whatever 10th or 11th grade, I don't remember which one. I was like, wow, this is like jackpot. And he's like, he can't even run away because this is on first floor. He can't even fucking pretend that he was going to fucking temple and he just ended up coming here. And we're like, and he was coming our way, we are going his way. There's no way he can run. We're on first floor. He's like, he knows he's fucked. We know we've got it. We've got it. Now we have this on him. So we can do a lot of things with him, man. He can never fail us. He can never fuck with us. He can never like torture us in the class. And then he was this nice looking guy. We also knew that he was married. We also knew that he had a kid. He was young. I mean,
Oh.
early 30s or something, like your age or younger. And we were like, and then we confront him. And this is one time we like, we've always been this, sir, sir, sir. Okay, whatever you say, we do it. This is one time we found like, dude, this is the time we can actually say something. So we were smart. By the time I had already developed some sense of humor because of my friends Wasimul
Hmm.
Hassan, and I'll name them, and Wasim and Teja. Both were
Hmm.
like bastards because I had developed like, nice sarcastic sense of humor. I think I don't remember who was with me that time. There were two of us. Again, I don't remember who was next to me. But we just like, and he knows that this is a bit of a cul-de-sac, which is like a dead end. He can't run away. So he's like,
Hmm.
"Oh, sir, you're here. You're also here." And he's like, oh, Jesus Christ, it's not good. And we're like, sir, आप गलती से आ गए होगे, it's okay. I mean, understand यार, आप तो आपका बेबी है, उसका आप पाउडर लेने जा रहे होगे, तो आप गलती से इधर आ
Oh
गए.
my God.
आप नीचे, the right next to it, there was a shop called Kumar Sweets, which was super popular. When I say was, because it also moved to a slightly
Hmm.
different location. It's in the same zone, but at the intersection was Kumar Sweets. They used to sell ras malai. Even right now, when I go to Dehradun, I still take the ras malai. Too sweet for me right now. So
Hmm.
I said, आप सर कुमार से भी रसमलाई खा रहे होगे, आप चलते चलते मतलब गलती से सीढ़ियों से ऊपर चढ़ गए, फिर इधर आ गए, मतलब हमें पता है कुछ नहीं, किसी को नहीं
Yeah.
बताएंगे, हम किसी को नहीं बोलेंगे. And this guy knows like we just fucking with him. He's like, listen, please don't tell anybody. That's all. If you're fun and all, and you know what? I'll be nice to you. Okay. He was actually
Okay.
generally very nice. He was like, no, just do me this favor if you can. And I was
Hmm.
like, he's like, can I go because this is already very uncomfortable for me. I was like, yeah. I think
Hmm.
he had already bought the tickets. I think he didn't watch the movie. He just left. He just left. And we were like, yes. And every time we used to see him in the class, we were like, yeah. And you know how the teachers do it? Like,
Hmm.
you ask a tough question, they're like, Gaurav, Rohit, Puneet, Bikram. He would never do that to us after that. He was like, when we did not know, he would not. Whenever we raise our hand, then he'll let us. He will never put us in a situation. He will never
Hmm.
actually insult us because we got a low score. He will never us like, we will cane you. He'll never say bad things to us because he was like, you never know, man, what these guys gonna do. They're gonna fucking tell everybody. Man, it's just gonna
Yeah.
ruin my reputation. And that
Yeah.
time was very difficult. Like there was no evidence, but the fact that you tell everybody and people find out that he's actually watching porn, that's not good. That's pretty
Yeah.
bad. That's pretty fucking bad. So those are two my experiences of going to theaters, which I think right now nobody can have because
Hmm.
I think at least 10 or 15 years ago, I think that theater in the porn just died completely when internet
Hmm.
took over, and I think that will never happen. You have to have your own theater, like in your home. If you're rich, I think rich people must be watching in those projector rooms of their own. But otherwise, I really don't see.
Or 3D, 3D. Now it's there is VR as well. Like you can
Oh, yeah,
watch in
yeah,
virtual
probably,
reality.
probably once we become richer, I think we'll be too old to actually do that. But who knows? We'll probably have augmentation for everything.
Yeah.
All right, you hit me.
Okay.
What's yours?
So coming from maths teacher exploring biology uh, to a bit serious story.
Mhm.
Um, so this is class 11 and 12. So 2002, 2003 and 2004.
Mhm.
And I'll be 16 and 17. Yeah, 16 and 17 years old. So, okay. So, again, a bit of background. So, as I told you in the first part of the podcast, that I never changed my school. I always studied in the same school, Kendriya Vidyalaya, from class 1 to class 12, standard 12, and after that I went to college, and we have done a podcast on college days as well, so the link you can find somewhere here. If you want, you can check that out as well. So 10th till I think till eighth standard, I was very good at studies. In fact, I think when you were telling about your grades before you moved to boarding school, and they were going down, and so something similar happened with me as well. I think up still till seventh, I used to be the first or the second in the class, either first or second. And I think after eighth, it all started going downhill. And I mean, I was not terrible. I was still coming fourth, fifth, something like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was not coming in the first three ranks. So it was already playing on my mind anyway. And tenth also, I had decent result if I look back now. But at that time, I felt it was terrible. I think I got 70%,
Mhm.
which was not terrible now if I think about it now. But that time I felt like, oh, the world is going to end. So anyway, so then I moved to 11th and 12th, same school. But for the senior secondary classes, the teachers change. They are not the same set of teachers which used to teach us till 10th standard. So there were these couple of teachers. And I took science because I had 17. I was always interested in computers and
Mhm.
science. So that was a very natural path for me. It was not one of those situations where science good, arts bad, and I have to take science. Not like that. It was my own decision. So I took science and I took biology. I mean, if you take science, generally you have physics, chemistry, and math, and
Mhm.
then you can either take biology or take something else, take some non-science subject. So I took biology because I used to like biology. So there were these two teachers, one for chemistry and one for physics. These two teachers were new, and Kendriya Vidyalaya, you have to understand, it's a government um, I mean, government institution.
Mhm.
All the teachers who get selected come through, the government selection process. So there are a lot of things which go on. There would be bribery. There would be reservation and all that. So sometimes you would find very good teachers, but a lot of times you will find very ordinary teachers.
Mhm.
And since you are a government employee, they a lot of times they didn't even want to improve. So we had a similar situation in for our physics teacher, who was, I mean, he was not very good. He was barely able to speak properly in English, and we were even in Kendriya Vidyalaya, we were studying in English medium. It was not Hindi medium like a lot of government schools. So
Mhm.
that was, and there was this chemistry teacher who was a good teacher. I won't say that he was a bad teacher. He was a very good teacher, and he knew his thing. He knew his chemistry. So, but the trouble started when generally in government schools, teacher expect that their students who they are teaching in the class, they would come and take tuitions from them,
Mhm.
because that's the extra kamai, right? That's the non taxable black money income which comes. And
Mhm.
so this was a very common thing. I don't know whether it's still there, but teachers expect that these students will come and study, and take tuitions, take private tuitions from them. And if you don't take private tuitions, they will screw you in the class. Because and this doesn't happen with every teacher. There are few teachers where it happens, and these two teachers were like that, the chemistry teacher and the physics teacher. And I was anyway very low in confidence because my grades were falling, and these two teachers used to take me to task. Like they used to make fun of me in class, and even when I was not around, I heard from my friends. They used to make fun of me on my backside, which was, I mean, you can imagine I am 15, 16 years old, and these people who are in their 40s or late 30s or early 40s, they're making fun of me.
Mm.
And there was another reason for that, because my father was also very active in the school, in the sense that he used to meet with the teachers. If there was some problem, he used to complain to the principal and all that. So he was very active that way.
Mhm.
So this also played some part in it, because they used to think, oh, why this guy is always complaining, why this guy is always uh, coming into their business. So they used to single me out a lot of times, and that used to really play on my mind. And in CBSE, for the 12th exam, for the science stream, you have for physics and chemistry and biology. So out of 100 marks, 30 marks is given for practicals, and then
Mm.
70 marks is your main exam. So what these two guys did, they gave me very low marks in practicals, and that really, and I mean, you get to know the marks of practicals before the final exam, because that happens before the final exam. And I
Mm.
came to know that they gave me very less marks, and that really depressed me, because I was anyway very depressed by the time. And it was 12th, and it was considered to be the turning point of your career, that if you don't get good marks in 12, then your career is over. That was the perception that time.
Correct. Correct.
And this thing really pulled me down. I got very bad marks, very poor grades in 12. And this also, you know uh, that feeling of being not good actually carried over to the college as well, for a couple of years, for the first 2 years. Then eventually I started understanding how the world works, and how these things are not so important. And yeah, I mean, I just wanted to talk about that it's not a proper story, but it's like a experience I had in school. And maybe I wanted to share this, because eventually I turned out to be, well, I turned out to be decent. I can take care of my family. I have lived outside of the country. I mean, even though I got very poor marks in 12, life didn't stop for me, or I didn't fail anywhere. And this kind of experience actually, made me stronger again, because after going through that period, I feel now that no one can burst my bubble now, because that's what happened that time. I used to be very good. If someone would have pushed me, propelled me a bit, I would have maybe performed better in 12th. But these two just pulled me down a lot, and really burst my bubble that time. But
Mm.
after going through that experience and understanding how the world works, and how 10th and 12th and the result you get there, it's not so important. It really, made me stronger in that way. So this is something I wanted to share.
All right. So I think what I take from is that this. I think I think we get into two realms. One is of validation that I think even more important right now. I think the idea of validation comes a lot in countries like ours, where we always need that approval from other people, and when we don't get that approval, and when other people are unfair, we somehow just you know pay much more heed to them than we should be, because anybody
Hmm.
who's probably 30 should never be making fun of somebody who's 15, which is actually really like doing something which is hitting somebody below the belt without they don't even deserve it, and that's completely uncalled for, or as I would say that it's completely unbecoming of them to do that in the
Hmm.
first place. Again, but at the same time, you can't control. If we learn one thing, that we can't control other people, we can only control
Yeah.
ourselves. At that
Yeah.
age, the only thing we can do is we prepare our children, prepare other people to be already ready, and not be able to say that, oh, I was only 15, dude.
Hmm.
Because this day and age right now, by 15, you're already like probably being molested. You already probably like people
Yeah.
have just talk shit to you. You've probably been had broken leg. If you're a girl, you probably some videos have already been on the internet. Things whatever they want to. My point is, whatever anybody can hurt you, they will hurt you. So I think
Yeah.
eventually you should just put the shield up and say, without stopping you from doing something. If you're doing something
Hmm.
and people are like, oh, we're gonna make fun of you. If you like doing that, for example, if you writing rap songs, and people just like, oh, you think you're Eminem, you're shit.
Hmm.
Maybe you're shit at that time, but Eminem did not just start out to be Eminem. He was writing for years and years and years, but he didn't
Yeah.
stop. and that's how you become. But if you ask yourself, do you like doing that? You keep doing that, and don't worry about other people will never ever bring you down, because you yourself are somebody who's going to bring you down. On the
Mm.
Before I go to my story, the last thing I would say from this thing is that when I used to teach, now I don't teach at this moment, and I used to teach, one of the courses I used to teach was SAT, and people
Mm.
used to always get bogged down, particularly in high school. They were like, uh, and they were like so worried about the SAT score that they'll not get admission. What will happen? This will happen. So one thing I should say, this is like a dialogue thing I should say to them. I should ask them. I said, you know what will happen 5 years later after you've given this test? They said, what? I said, nobody will remember your scores,
Yeah.
and I say, and that includes you.
Yeah.
Nobody will
Exactly.
remember it, neither will you. So don't give it more important than it deserves. It's perfectly okay. I tell them I never gave SATs. I never gave IELTS, but I'm teaching it.
Mm.
Right. And I'm teaching freaking all right. I never gave GRE. I was not a science student, but I'm teaching it. It's not that terrible. You can still do anything. You don't need validation. All right.
Yeah.
On that serious story, I'll probably move on to a less serious story. Oh, this is also a serious story. I also have a serious story. This is another two-part story. Moving on to sports. I was like, how the hell am I out talking about sports? Okay.
Yeah. Even my fourth story is about sports. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, finally. So we'll end on a sports note. So anyway, who's reached this point and they're like about to try to switch it off. If you're into sports, you're like, I'm gonna watch these fuckers more. So it will start with I started getting, as I told already, if you already followed the first part to second part, that I started out as somebody who was just a shy loser guy from Delhi, and then getting into his boarding school. By the way, one thing I can assure you, I was not in a big school in Delhi. I was in a simple school. My school's name was St. Rosier's Public School. If that sounds very interesting, because it says Saint Rosiers, but there was nothing saint and there was nothing rosy about that school. Okay, and that was nothing. I just okay. That is a very interesting thing I figured out. But okay, there was nothing interesting about it. Okay, I'm just got distracted because of that. There's nothing very interesting about it. But when you go to boarding school, those people are far ahead of you. If you're just
Mm.
walking in grade 8, you come in grade 1, that's different. But you're walking in, these guys have seen the world. They're already
Yeah.
freaking mature. So I was far behind. But by the time I'm coming to this story, I'm in grade 12. And by this time, I've already become the house captain. By the way, I was not house captain officially. I was house captain, but then I got demoted to house prefect for nothing, for doing nothing. House, just to explain people who don't understand the concept, captain is the, like, you can say deputy. Prefect is like the deputy, but I was officially the captain, supposed to be. I was already the captain in 11th, which nobody becomes captain in 11th. And then, but when 12th, when you came officially, I got demoted for doing nothing, just because the principal, just the way you said, right? Just because the principal did not like my face.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was no reason given, because there was no reason. In fact, when I tried to question it, they told me, stop sulking and accept it. And I was like, there is no reason. And then I got told off so badly by my teacher, Mr. Goel. He said, you need to start respecting me. Now, just because some position has gone away from you, you should started disrespecting me. You don't even say hello to me in the morning. I was
Mm.
like, sir, I was really upset. And all you're upset about, somebody didn't say, I didn't actually say that to him, because we can't do that. But I was
Yeah.
like, all this person upset that I didn't say hello to him in the morning, good morning to him. And not the fact that I was already captain for 6 months and I did everything. I already had heads up, everybody knew. And then I got insulted in front of everyone
Mm.
by getting demoted without me being told. He told me, he didn't even tell me. I mean, I don't want to get into that story. It's when it
Mm.
gets announced, when we are in assembly, it gets announced, and that's when it gets announced that I am prefect. And my friend, luckily again, Abhishek, who's my close friend, became the captain. I had no problem with that. Definitely,
Mm.
all the kudos to him. And then I remember all the eyes were on me at that time. Okay, I was not going to tell
Mm.
this story, but I ended up telling this story. So all the eyes were on me, and I felt like I was choking. Bikram, I
Mm.
felt I was choking. And when the assembly finished, instead of going to the class directly, I just, because there was to be a little bit of gap of 15 minutes, 10 minutes before the class starts, I
Mm.
ran up, as you already told in the story, that my floor was on the third floor where I residential.
Mm.
I ran up, I went to the washroom, I just locked myself, and I was just sitting on the commode, and I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Mm.
Because it was just brutal. It was like, what the fuck just happened? Like
Yeah.
I had no idea. It was just when it was announced, like I was already walking up and I was just took, it's like Abhishek Singh. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? And then I
Mm.
just took a step back, and all the eyes in the assembly were on me. They were like, what the fuck? Because I was already standing in the captain's position. Captain used to stand in front of the assembly line of the
Okay.
house, and the
Yeah.
prefect used to start on the sides, on the sides.
Mm.
And I was like, wow. And then everybody was shocked because nobody told me. And Mr. Goel, who was our headmaster, housemaster, did not have the courage. And then later on, blaming me because I didn't say good morning to him, and I was insulted him. If you're watching Mr. Goel, but right now, I don't think you've realized, because I don't think anybody changes. You're already 40 years old. You didn't realize that. It was not about you, buddy. It was about me. You already fucking told me that I was house captain. I did
Mm.
everything that I was supposed to do. Then last day, you just fucking changed because the principal did not. By the way, principal did not like me at all. So I think when he pushed my name to them, the principal said, no, we can't. So just make him prefect if you like him or something. But
Uh-huh.
that was just brutal. It's like, just like, how the hell did you just get demoted? It's like Virat Kohli going there and today, tomorrow, it's like, no. Suddenly Kuldeep Singh is the fucking captain.
Yeah.
Yadav. What his name is? Kuldeep Yadav?
Kuldeep
Yeah.
Yadav, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't come up with the names. I just randomly said his name. It had nothing to do with Kuldeep. So I'm just saying that will be very insulting, right? Suddenly you get demoted for no
Yeah.
reason. Absolutely. Anyway, that was not part of the story. It was part of the story. It was like, okay, now I still have to tell two more stories, but it will just take two minutes.
Hmm.
Now, I was made because I was already captain. I was doing very well. Plus, one of the reasons I was made captain was I was one of the all rounders. Means I was very good at sports, and I was also started doing very well in studies. I came first in grade 11, which was
Okay.
remarkable because we had really
Yeah, yeah,
intelligent students, right? But
yeah, yeah,
trust me, I didn't have those astronomical numbers that people have right now 99.8,
yeah,
99.4,
yeah,
100
yeah,
points. Some people have 100.1 also. I had 89.4, which was just one mark extra than more than Rashmi, who was the top scorer, was 89.2, I think she got. So just one
yeah.
mark more than her. Anyway, so I was doing well. So because I used to be very good in sports, like I was good in badminton, I was good in table tennis, I was good in cricket, obviously. So somehow, when the hockey came, they decided to make me captain.
Hmm.
And I'm like, and guess who made me captain? Again, Mr. Goel. Because Abhishek, who became the captain of the White House, he was amazing at studies, but he didn't do any sports. He never played any
Okay.
sports. You should see his photo right now. And after he's exercising, if Abhishek ends up watching this on my face, he's like, look at this fucker. He's like pulling me down. I was like, no, no hard feelings, buddy. But look at me. Even when I'm sitting, you can see my waistline. It's just amazing. By the way, I was looking at the video the other day. I was like, look at my waistline, even when I'm sitting. And look at Bikram's waistline. That's why he's hiding it. I'm actually pointing to my waistline like a fucking cheap ass. Anyway, so they made me captain just by default, and then I realized that I don't know how to play hockey. Have you ever played hockey, Bikram?
No.
Okay. Also, and one thing you know that we will not have astroturf, right? We just had normal
Yeah,
grass field.
yeah,
There's a
yeah,
huge difference. So normally,
yeah,
but you've seen hockey, right? How they do it.
yeah,
They
yeah.
have to stop the
I,
ball. They have to stick, like
mm,
coordination is there. So I go in. I had the team. But the first 35 minutes, I think we still play 35. Before the hockey used to be 70 minutes. Now it's become 30 minutes in four
mm,
quarters. Anyway, the first half, I embarrassed myself because I actually put myself in defense because that's my strategy. My strategy that if I don't know a sport, even football, when I play, I put myself in defense because that takes less skills. You just like fucking try to get rid of it. But I
yeah,
think I leaked so many balls. So sometimes I'm just trying to put my stick down. The ball will roll through it, or when I'm like hitting it, it will just go all over. I was a
yeah.
fucking embarrassment. So when the
Mm,
halftime bell rang, I sat down on the. I remember sitting on the side on the pavement, and then we had subs, right? So one of the
mm,
substitutes was Akash Sen. So I look at him. I said, like, Akash, you're in. He's like, he was very localish guy. He was like localish is not local Dehradun, but more like a UP something.
mm,
He was like, "Tu bahar kaun ja raha hai?" So I was like, "I'm going out," and he's like,
mm.
"Huh?" It was like unheard of, like how the captain would bench himself. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
going out, and he looked at us like, just start warming up. And he's like, he started warming up. He was very good. He was good.
Mm,
He was definitely 100 times better than me.
mm,
So and then he just started warming up, and I realized I was the weakest link. So he went
mm,
in. He took my position. I think somebody else took my position. He went on in the midfield or something, and
mm,
then it was much better. And I realized that moment, I realized that I think I made the right decision. I think I made a very big decision that actually defined a lot of my life. That you got to make the right decision. You got to make a decision which might embarrass you, which
mm.
might do other thing. But I knew, Bikram, that I was really bad, and I need to
Yeah.
bench myself. And I benched myself because nobody else was going to ask me to bench myself, and nobody's going to say anything. I was already the most senior guy. I was prefect. Although I was
Mm,
demoted from captain to thing, but I was already very good at studies. I already knew all the four girls who were like head girl, White House captain, Gold House captain, and
mm,
the Blue House captain. All of them were my best friends. So I was really, really popular in 12th grade. So nobody's gonna fucking tell. But they were obviously muttering. But when I decided to like bench myself, they were like, "Huh, that happened." And
mm.
the corresponding story, which is that is like the final story, is we used to have something called cross country. We used to run
Ah,
up the hill, and this race was around, I don't know how many kilometers was it, but it could be around overall, one side was 8 to 10 kilometers. So overall we used to run up the hill, then come back to our school. So I think
okay.
overall it could be, I think, between 16 to 20 kilometers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but it sounds a lot. But that time, we were really like we were in school, and Dehradun, you do a lot of exercise stuff, like not the gym thing, but
Yeah.
you just moving around, so it was not big deal. And then I remember that we used to have practice because all these things you have to practice before. And I was
Mm-hmm.
practicing very hard, and I was very good at long. By the way, now I run every day, right? So this is where it
Yeah.
came from. I realized while practicing, like I used to run other also like 1200 meters and other things. So I was very good at that. And I realized because generally I was not good at athletics. I was too good at like badminton and all, as I said, cricket and all things, but I was not
Mm-hmm.
good at athletics. So I realized I'm good at long runs. I have better stamina. So while
Okay.
practicing, I came first multiple times.
Mm.
So I was like, dude, I think I'm gonna come first. I was like, in case something happens, I'll still come second. In the worst case scenario, third. I don't know, like, but I was like, I'm coming first. All three trials, I came first. So
Okay.
on the last day, I was very happy that okay, this is going to be very interesting because I had not done this before. Like before, I was not that level. I think in 11th
Mm.
and 10th, 11th, we started running a lot, and that time I realized that I'm getting really, really good at it. So I was peaking at that time. So
Mm.
when the final race happened, this guy, and I particularly remember him. He is not on my Facebook. His name was Naveen Singhal. He was from Nepal. He was an Indian person, but he was from Nepal, and he started running like from the very onset. There was
Okay.
something about this guy, and I was like, and trust me, I did not know Naveen was going to run so fast. He had always come like done well, but something was about him. Like he started very well, and I was like, what
Mm.
the fuck is this thing? And then there was another guy whose name I don't remember. He was also running very fast, and Naveen apparently started running so good. And you have to pace yourself because plus you
Yeah.
run
Yeah.
uphill first, right?
Yeah.
Uphill
True.
first, and
Yeah.
then we're at the end of Dehradun, so I'm moving up to Mussoorie. We're running up, and then I realized that I started running faster because I was like, these guys are running fast. Then I realized, no, 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 this is not my strategy because that's not how I used to run. I should run
Mm.
slower and pick up my pace. I'm like, if I'm going to burn myself out, I'm going to get slower later on.
Mm.
And I realized that, and then I was like, I need to slow down a little bit. The moment I need to slow down, is like do the regular, but I was coming first regularly.
Mm.
And then I did what I had to do, but then I realized after like few kilometers that dude, I don't think I'm gonna beat these two. And Naveen was on fire.
Mm.
Now I can tell you what was happening. At that time, I still didn't realize what had happened was like unlike me, they had actually saved themselves. They
Save
were
them.
didn't save myself. Now they just completely went all out on the last day. And then I realized Naveen was actually really fucking good. Probably he was running. I did not know. Maybe he was doing in Nepal and other things. I did not know personally because we didn't have video recordings.
Mm.
This guy was professional man. This guy was like, fuck, I'm gonna be from the very onset. I was like, fuck this thing. So anyway, so after a while, after 5 6 kilometers, I was steady, and by the time we reached mid lane, and then coming down, when you reach the 8 10 kilometer mark, the first point, and
Mm.
then when you start running back, yeah, then the positions don't change because once you're running back, you're
Mm.
fine. Yeah, it's not going to.
Yeah.
The main part is that. So if you've done that, then you have to be an idiot to actually lose your position. So I was third, and
Mm.
then I decided that no problems. Used to get like gold, silver, and bronze. So I was like,
Yeah.
I accepted my destiny. These guys were just too good. They had
Mm.
like at least fucking 500 meters on me. It's not like it's 100 meters or something. It's just like a
Yeah.
lot of difference. I
Yeah.
was like, fuck this thing. So and I accepted it. And then when I was running down, but what also happens that when you're running down and then slowly and gradually, just like you just take your time. You're like, okay, fine, doesn't matter. And I remember like a couple of guys were behind me, but I had a massive lead on them, like around 200 meters.
Mm.
I was maintaining that. 200
Mm.
meters is a lot. Like you're not
Yeah.
doing me. I
Yeah.
do have energy. I accepted my third position because you actually get tired. You get really, really fucking tired, right?
Yeah. True.
And then I like when we actually reached a point where the road where we now actually going to enter our zone where eventually our school will come within like I don't know 500 700 meters. So
Mm.
I hear a shout when we just entering that lane, and then like and I do not remember this guy's name. I remember his face. I don't remember his name. Now he
Okay.
said he was a junior, and he said like say, I don't remember what exactly he said, but what he was trying to say, can you let me go? And somehow for that decision, I look back, I slowed down, and I just like as I said, there was 200 meter gap. Even when I slowed down, the gap was still 100. And then
Mm.
I somehow just felt like okay, maybe looking at him, it felt like it really meant to him that to come like third.
Mm.
So because he had never won anything in life, whatever. I don't know. I know he just wanted it so bad. I don't know. At that point, I made a decision that I have to let this guy go, and I
Wow.
just slowed down a bit. And what happened when I slowed down so much, there was another guy next to him. He also ran like ahead, and these guys started running even faster, and I had just lost the motivation or whatever. I don't know what it was. But I was like letting. I was just kind of like not lost motivation, but that's the wrong thing. I was like just happy for him, and then I
Mm.
started running, and I actually ended up coming fifth. Fifth.
Okay.
So I knew when the announcement will be done, like they won't even announce my name, which was like a bit disappointing. But I was feeling like, you know what, I kind of did a good thing to let this guy go, and then the other motherfucker also ran through. Like that was just weird, and I was like, this was a wake up call for me because I thought I'm gonna come first, and then I was gonna eventually come third, and then I was just
Mm.
like, I did some, pulled off this amazing thing that what do you call that, philanthropy or something.
Yeah.
So I just let this guy go, and then when they announced, for whatever reason, they decided to announce first five rankings. And then
Oh.
for whatever reasons, they decided not to announce from fifth to fourth or third. They announced the first, second, third, fourth, fifth. I
Oh.
don't know what was happening. I remember standing there, and I remember first call Naveen Singhal. He came to take his award and everything. I was not even there because I was not going to be fifth. I was in my dormitory, but because right under the dormitory was the ground, and that's where
Mm.
they were doing it on the pavement. So
Mm.
Naveen came, and the other guy came, and this guy came. He was like super happy once he got the third prize. The guy who had
Mm.
let in, he was from my house only. So I was like, eventually the points system will not be a problem,
Okay.
right? Because
Okay.
it's still
Yeah.
going to come to White House.
Mm.
And then they said fourth, and then say fifth, Gaurabish. And remember, I was in the balcony, I was in the corridor, and then whenever they announce something, they announce Naveen and other. The applause is going down and down. And the moment they announce my name, the applause was like thunderous applause. And this is bigger than they announced for Naveen. And I was like,
Oh.
wow, I didn't expect that. And I just felt like I was walking, I just stopped. I was like, what the fuck just happened? Heard when I was like, yeah, the applause is dying off. And suddenly it was like massive applause. I was like, wow. And I don't know, like I got a peripheral learning from this thing. I felt like you don't just win when you come first. You just
Mm.
sometimes I have no reason to believe that these guys knew that I let him through me. And I don't think this guy was announcing to people that, oh, Gaurav Bhaiya let me through or
Mm.
something. But somehow it happened. I think it's a mix of like people knew me and all, but I
Yeah,
never
you
heard
were the
anybody.
prefect. Yeah.
But the fact that like the applause is bigger than for the first, somehow I felt like something people saw or understood that it was bigger than the victory. And I had already felt good letting this guy go, and I was like, I was accepted my thing, but like something getting announced and my name getting announced and getting such applause,
Mm.
it was just a learning that from sports I've learned a lot of things, that
Yeah.
it develops character, it develops solidarity, it develops camaraderie, it develops friendship, it develops a lot of character. Did I
Yeah.
say character already? So
Yeah.
so it just also lets you accept defeat. It actually
Yeah.
makes you grow. And I always say this, one of the reasons probably, if women need to be better than men, they need to play a lot of sport, because it gives you something that, playing with fucking dolls, or like, mucking about or gossiping or putting makeup or going to hairstylists will never give you, or even trying to do all the bestie fucking pouty fucking face pictures will never give you. When you play sports, it really wakes you up. And that's one of the
Yeah.
reasons why men's sport is so much superior than female sport, is because women don't give a shit. And that's what happens. That's the biggest reason, that women don't give a shit. Because if women did give a shit,
Yeah.
women will generally be much more physically not as strong. But the big example is tennis, right? Obviously, women's tennis is not as good as men's, but they still do very well, because in that they actually give a shit and they go all out. So if you really give a
Yeah.
shit and you go all
And
out, you can. Hmm.
it comes to viewership as well, right? Because men care about sports, so there is much more viewership because of that.
Exactly,
And
exactly. So if you nobody cares about, nobody watches football. The fact is, women wanting equal pay, and I think that's another podcast. But I'm saying, dude, nobody's watching your sports, including you, because there's 50% male and 50% women, right? Not in India,
mm,
of course. Not in India. Not in Haryana. Not in Rajasthan. Don't get me wrong, buddies. Okay, buddies. But overall in the world, thanks to first world where there's more women, there is equal number of. So there is no reason for you to fucking complain that nobody's watching your sport. Your own people
yeah,
need to watch a sport first. Where's the fucking feminism? Okay.
yeah,
Okay, Bikram, your story. We're already 40 minutes down, so we're gonna like hit your story. I ended
yeah,
up telling three stories like an idiot. Yeah.
yeah. And it was a very wonderful story. I think I am. I don't know. My story will be uh, nowhere near your story. But
Yeah, don't
anyway,
say
I'll
that.
tell you.
People will shut off the video. Like, oh no, this is wonderful. This is about story about his bar mitzvah, or probably the circumcision. Circumcision. Difficult to pronounce, eh? He's Jew. He's not telling anybody. Yeah.
So
French
yeah,
guy and French.
it's
Yeah,
about
go on.
it's about sports. It's about cricket. So if you are going to shut down, it's about cricket. Don't shut it down. So
Don't shut it down. We're gonna show you boobs
okay. So
at the
yeah.
end.
So it's uh, yeah, during it's about the same time. around I think ninth grade uh, in 2000. Yeah, 2001. Yeah, 2001
Mhm.
ninth grade. I was 14 years. I think, yeah, 14 years. So you have seen my height, right? I'm 6 feet, and
Mhm.
you will find very few people who are taller than me. Uh, and
Brag on about it. Brag on to
No,
five
in
feet
India,
7 inch people. Yeah,
yeah.
me.
So
Yeah.
yeah, in my school also, in my school there was a taller guy than me, and the area where this place is, it's in Jharkhand, so there are a lot of tribal people from tribal origins, so they are stronger built.
Mhm.
And there was this guy called Sudeep. I remember his name. So there was this guy named Sudeep. He was taller than me. He was very fit. He had like broad shoulders, and you can imagine tribal people, right?
Mhm.
So we used to play cricket like everyone. And so what we used to play with at ninth standard, we used to play with tennis ball. And tennis ball bounces a lot if you put a lot of effort on it.
Oh yeah, I've
And
played.
yeah, and this guy was again very naturally athletic, and he was good at batting, he was good at bowling, and fielding also. He used to move very quickly. So this guy was like super athletic. And so we were playing a match. So generally what used to happen, we had a sports period, and we used to divide all our class students into two teams who were interested in playing. There were few people who were not interested in playing. So we used to divide and used to play matches, series of matches. And so I never bowled. I was a bit chubby. I mean, even now I'm chubby, but I was chubbier. And yeah, and I just used to bat and field. I used to wicket keep, because there you don't have to move much, and keep wickets, not wicket keep. And so that's a wicket keeper.
Mhm.
And even in football, I used to be the goalkeeper, because then you don't have to move much. so yeah, so I was not so good. I mean, decent batting wise. I used to make some runs and all that. So there was this match going on one of these days, and we were batting second, and they had made some runs. I don't remember the exact score or anything. And there were 2 overs left, and we had to score around 19 runs or 18 runs, something like that. And the second last over, Sudeep was bowling, and I before Sudeep's over, a lot of wickets fell. Like I think we never used to have 10 players. We used to have like 7 versus 7, 6 versus 6, something like that. So
Mhm.
again, don't remember the exact number. But I used to come in the middle because I was not so great. So they used to put me in the middle, shield me. so so I just came. So I had to face, because the when the over changes, we used to switch ends in cricket. So I was batting, and this guy had to bowl, and he comes in and bowls fast with tennis ball. He used to, and he was very tall, so he used to bang the ball, and it used to come at your chest at a very good speed.
Mhm.
So he was bowling, and we used to play. I mean, whenever we played, I didn't score many runs against him, because just used to bowl fast, and he used to bowl at your body.
Mhm.
And this day, I don't know what happened. First ball he bowled again on the body, and I just couldn't handle it. I think I either ducked, not ducked, I swayed away or something. I tried to, yeah, we had to score runs, so I tried to like hit it, but it didn't connect. And then he bowled the second ball. I said, okay, it's not working out. I just closed my eyes, swiveled on
Mhm.
my feet, and pulled the ball, and it just connected, and it went for four. I was like, wow, this is good. And like when we see cricketers talking about that they're in the zone, when they feel good,
Mhm.
everything hits, and that I really felt that after hitting that. And I still remember that fuzzy feeling which came after hitting that ball. I was like, wow, this is so good. The sound of the ball hitting the bat, and the feeling when the ball connected was so good. Said, okay, let me try it again. He bowled again, similar delivery. Again, I sibbled. This time I didn't close my eyes. I saw the ball, sibbled again four. I was like, wow, and everyone was stunned. Like, oh, this guy's hitting Sudeep for two fours. How is this possible? And I remember the captain of my team. He was already out, and he was just looking at me like, like something great has happened. And again, he bowled the third ball. Again, did the same thing. I think he wanted to prove that he can bowl the similar delivery and it troubled me. It was the ego thing, right, where you
Mhm.
don't want to show that your plan is not working. And he again bowled the same delivery, again did the same thing again. So I hit him for five consecutive fours, and we won the match in the same over. And it just gave me such a such a high that when I was thinking of before the podcast, when I was thinking of all these stories, there are a lot of stories about I coming first in the class, people giving me awards in ceremonies and all that. But this story just kept coming back to me, and I was thinking, I just had this thought that I mean, there are so many things that I have achieved during my school days, good things which I can talk about. But this is the thing which I remember, and this is not such a great thing. It's just a ordinary match in on a ordinary day. Nothing great about it, but that feeling which gave the feeling that it gave, it was just extraordinary. That type of feeling I never got from any other any other thing, like coming first in the school, or coming first in the class, or getting some recognition from something, winning some competition, like we used to have all these math olympiads and all that. So I just thought about it, that as you were saying the same thing, that people need to play sports to understand, to build character.
Mhm.
And this is again I think this story is again an example of that it's in the human psyche to be physically active. And if you're not physically active, even though you achieve a lot of things, even though you do a lot of things, it's the physical part which also needs some kind of nourishment. And this is and in today's world, we are not doing that. We are restricting our bodies to just sitting on a chair or doing nothing. So this is something which I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, fair enough. More than ever, actually. I think only people who will not be able to relate to this story is the people who are like academicians or
Mm.
studious people who never played sport. They'll be like, "What exactly just happened?" But anybody who's played sport, I would totally relate to it. For anybody, because you never hear. See, only people you hear about like what are your best moments. They're like talking about that. I came
Hmm.
first or I got my first job, but you never hear Virat Kohli saying, "Where's your best moments?" He'll always go to sports. He's not going to say,
Yeah.
class में first आया था. See, when you have a choice, and see, this is very common sense. It's not my opinion. The fact is that people actually, if you really want, people don't want to be a doctor. People want to be a fucking rock star. People want to be a fucking
Yeah.
sports person. People want to be a singer. People want to be a movie actor because there's just so much. There's something completely different about that altogether.
Hmm.
I'll finish on this thing, and because we're hitting 50-minute mark. But when you're
Yeah.
saying it, remind me of one moment which and I played a lot of sport. So if you ask me one
Yeah.
single moment for whatever reason, I'll tell you the reason why I remember. I think I was 20 to 23 years old. I think I could be 23 years old. My friend, I was 23 years old. Yes, because my friend
Hmm.
Miraz, who was 17 years old that time. This is
Hmm.
2005, and we used to play cricket in this small field, which was actually supposed. It was a turfed field, not completely astroturf, but
Hmm.
it was like a half football field. But we used to play cricket on it,
Hmm.
and in Monash
Hmm.
University, Clayton campus.
Hmm.
Now, Miraz was just, I don't know how to say this. He didn't end up becoming a cricket player because his father was a
Hmm.
businessman and a fairly big businessman. So they wanted him to do, obviously, work with them. But
Hmm.
I have played with a lot of people and I played in like fourth league in Australia as well. I have
Hmm.
never seen anybody in my life or anybody I ever physically saw played with. I have never played with somebody who is actually that good.
Hmm.
I felt this is 2005. I think if we had like next year or two, he had gone into real serious training and got into serious teams, he could be playing for Australia this time. If depending like
Mm.
what he had decided, because he was living in Australia,
Yeah.
just moved, so he's playing in Australia or India. But he would be playing with for the national team even right now because I'm 38 years, 6 years younger to me. He's probably 32 then. Yeah,
Mm.
so he would still easily be playing right now because right now lives in Toronto. Yeah, so he still plays
Mm.
there. But I think
Okay.
what he's now is just good. But he was like at that time Mohammad Kaif used to be the best fielder, and I think he was just at par. Anyway, without prolonging it, he was this guy was an amazing fielder, amazing bowler with like he'll bowl leg spin, off spin, like
Mm.
two shots, everything. And as a batsman, he would just literally hit you wherever he wants you to hit.
Mhm.
But as a fielder, he was just like magic. So I remember once he was batting and he hit this ball, and the ball comes to me directly, and then
Mhm.
he like normally like he knows he's so fast, he makes the call, he calls and he
Mm.
runs. He was no, he was not batting, he was in the non-striker end, so the guy hits.
Mm.
He makes the call. He's like, I can make it. And every single time this guy's gonna make it. I get the ball, it
Mm.
comes straight in my hand. I don't know, like one bounce, and I without really, stopping, I just sort of anticipate the ball is coming towards me. So instead of like grabbing the ball and then you move your arm back and hit it, I sort of like shift my body in a way that I'm gonna grab the ball and just fucking like throw it directly at the stumps.
Mm.
Just quickly grab it and just throw it at one like without actually wasting any time, and
Mm.
I hit it in the first bounce and it hits the stump and stumps goes rolling and he's run out. And Miraj
Ah.
never fucking gets run out. And this guy just, I wish I had a video. He's just screaming through, like literally screaming, like his bat is, everything is in position. He screams through and he knows he's run out and the umpire gave him a run out. And he's like, and because he's got so much momentum, he just ran all the way in, right? And he just,
Mm.
like, as he's running far and he knows he's run out and he just fucking chucks his bat. He's like, fucking shit, this thing. And I never forget that reaction because that's something that I used to do with every single guy. So
Mm.
technically, it was like if whenever somebody hits something, if it's a 2 run, but if it goes to Mirage, it's always 1 run
Mhm.
because you're not going to take on his arm because he's gonna
Yeah.
not only he's gonna hit it, he's gonna hit the stumps every single time. So
Yeah.
when I got Mirage, and I'm still friends with him, so we hardly ever talk actually. But when I got him, I always remember that like for me it was like getting some fucking national team player run out, and because I anticipated. I knew he's gonna run and I'm gonna go for it. And the moment the ball hit the stumps, I was like, wow, it's crazy because actually I didn't have any time and the way I was gonna hit it, it was not gonna hit the stumps. It was gonna be like it was just gonna be embarrassing. You know how you run towards the ball and without really looking at the ball, you just hit it right. And a lot of time when fielders
Mm.
the field the ball just rolls off or something. That way you
Yeah.
just jump off, and that happened. It was just so much beautiful. I remember that one specific incident. I just never forget, and I just feel so happy. I feel very orgasmic whenever I talk about that. I don't remember that. But I've played so much sport, but I can totally agree with you. Even I've had that situation when I've won a match with the same team, hitting four. We used to call twos that time. We used to like
Mm.
there was a half field, so we used to call twos. So four, we needed 8 runs and 4 balls, and I hit four twos back to back. Boom, boom. So I think I could relate to that when you were saying that you hit back to back, and it was like the bowler was like dumbfounded. It'd be like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
So I could totally relate to it. It doesn't sound very flashy, but
Mm.
coming from a sporting background, I can totally get it. Like how high must have given you because of somebody a bowler of that caliber, and you're
Yeah.
in zone. That's a real thing actually. It's not made up.
And to get that memory again and again when and that memory being so prominent, that gives you some sense that those things are also important. uh,
Oh, they are important. They're as bloody important as stealing kids. Oh, I don't know why I said that. I'm not stealing kids. I said that. Like kids. That didn't come out. Okay. On that note,
yeah.
because it's only 55 minutes, so I want everybody else to subscribe. But at the same time, much more than subscribe, think about your school life. If you're already in school right now, start jotting down what is happening. If nothing is happening, please make something happen. Sports, watching porn in the theater, probably not in a theater, but other things. Something different might happen. Have a girlfriend. Get beaten up. I got beaten up first time in a bathroom stall. So whenever I go to urinal right now, I feel like somebody's gonna punch me because that's the first time I got punched. Literally knocked the fucking lights out of me.
Okay.
And just have some experience because, as we said, college days are not going to come back, neither will school days, and everything else is downhill from there. So make the most of it. And then, so
Yeah.
20 years later, you can probably make a podcast. For me, it's probably 25 years later. Still looking all right for almost 40. Yeah, so that
Yeah.
way. Okay, Bikram, you want to say something? We'll end this.
Yeah, yeah, same thing. Keep watching, sharing, like the video as well gives us encouragement to make more such videos, and we'll be releasing a lot of videos on a lot of subjects. So yeah, just tune in.
Take care, buddies. Have a good evening.
Of life, I
Yeah,
say
bye bye.
yeah, no more fighting. Everyone's hyping, keep it to the mix, cause they